The following is a Castwave Studios production.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Impromptu Who, a show where my friend Brian and I take an episode from the 60 plus years of Doctor Who and do a very impromptu review of it.
How about that?
How about that?
Yeah.
Brian, how you been?
I've been alright. How about yourself?
I'm not gonna lie. This one took it out of me.
Really?
You
don't say.
This fucking episode. Holy shit.
So for all the good boys, girls, and they-thems out there who don't know or you didn't read the title, we're going to be reviewing Doctor Who and the Silurians episodes 1 through 7 today, basically.
1 through 6.
1 through 6. Was it 6 or 7?
I don't know. I lost track.
I lost count too.
I literally felt like I lost a year of my life just to watch this fucking serial.
What the fuck? Anyways, so yeah, we're going to be talking about Doctor Who and the Silurians. It is the first appearance of the Silurians, and boy does that show, but we'll get into that.
I mean...
Because I'm familiar with the Silurians looking a certain way because of one of my favorite couples in Doctor Who currently.
It's Jenny and Madame Vastra.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, now
them.
mind you, but we have to make this plain right from the front, those Silurians are very different than these Silurians.
Yeah, I did some research. Apparently, they're like a different genome or subsect or whatever.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Mondasian Cybermen compared to the like Pete's World Cybermen or something like that.
Yeah, it's basically just like we didn't have as great makeup and effects artists in the 1970s than we do in like the 2020s. So like it's not our fault that this looks like something out of a fucking aquarium.
Yeah. Anyways.
And mind you, I will point this out, this isn't the only Doctor Who villain during Pertwee's run that looks like a fucking mutated Easter Island statue.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. So, Colin, I believe that you have some new criteria for how we review episodes.
Well, you know what? I figured, because last time we basically just fucking parsed the whole goddamn episode.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
But holy shit.
Yeah.
It was like we were watching this fucking serial all over again, but it was us talking.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. I sure as hell don't want to do it again.
I mean, God, have you heard me talk? I know me. I don't like me. Well, no, that's mean to say.
I like you. You're okay.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, so I figured, we keep it simple. We'll just basically talk about, the basic precepts of the episode.
Okay.
And just, grade them on a scale of, A through F.
So then, A through F, so can you please then just list the criteria real fast, just so we know what we're going on?
I will do that right now.
Thank you.
So, we've got plot, which, this one's a doozy. Plot, we got characters. What are the memorable characters? Who do we like? Who do we not like?
Yeah.
And hate them, love them. Are they memorable? That's what's important.
Yeah.
Okay. Then special effects. Obviously, it's a science fiction series. Special effects are kind of paramount. So, are they good? Are they bad?
Yeah.
Are they really bad? Oh, we'll get to that. The settings. Is it interesting? Or is it just, are we just in Corey's the entire time?
Yeah.
What else? We've got...
I mean, hey, look, don't knock quarries, because, half the stuff I watch...
So, I know.
From, Japan is set...
Homie, you don't gotta tell me. I'm an old Who guy. I get it.
Yeah. Sentai, Kamen Rider,
yep.
Ultraman...
All quarries, because...
Doctor Who, what do they got in common? Fighting in quarries, baby.
Yep. Is the Doctor effective in the episode? Because sometimes he's very much effective. Sometimes, not so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Gadgets. So many gadgets, so little time. Mm-hmm. So we got to talk about them. And then my favorite, the technobabble. Because God knows, especially with Doctor Who, it's fucking everywhere.
I mean, all you gotta do is reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. That's all you gotta do.
We got close in this episode to that, but you know what? We'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
So, here we go.
Doctor Who and the Silurians, episodes 1 through whatever.
Yeah, so this is Doctor Who, Series 7, episodes, sweet Jesus, episodes 5 through 11. It's Doctor Who and the Silurians. So in this episode, the Silurians are... I can't even... Oh, God. Okay.
Can I read that?
No, it's... All right, no, it's fine. It's just... the problem is that this particular episode goes from, like, 0 to 100 super quick.
Yeah.
But then... That's in just the first episode. And then you're like, wait, where the fuck do we go from here? So they have to keep upping the stakes every fucking episode. So, first episode is two guys in a cave. They hear a noise. And instead of being like, hey, maybe we should just get the fuck out of here, they're like, let's go look. And then,
hey guys, look, the plot's that way.
Yeah, and then they're mauled by Hulk Barney. A very cheap Godzilla cosplay.
Oh my god.
And you can't, I mean, you look at that and you're like, okay, was someone just borrowing props from Land of the Lost? Because that is fucking ass.
Well, you know what? We'll get into that. But, like, real fast, can I just preface something?
Yeah.
Just the way that they would shoot the people in the foreground and then, like, they would have a special effect in the background with, like, the kind of, like, cut out whatever.
Yep.
I was like, this feels so much like freaking Land of the Lost, or like
I know. That's
or like
what I'm saying.
You know what? Also, just real fast, like there's a show that was on Adult Swim that used to like kind of harp on that kind of stuff, or used to like parrot that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It was made modern day, but they go back to all that kind of like Sid and Marty Krofft kind of like special effects haberdashery back in the day.
It's not great.
Have you ever heard of Saul the Moleman?
I have. Saul the Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
You gave me Saul the Moleman vibes so hard.
It is.
G-Rex!
Oh, God. So, yeah, So the Doctor and Liz are summoned to the Wenley Moore Research Center by the Brigadier after several staff members suffer nervous breakdowns.
The Wenley Moore. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so they're summoned to this underground research center, and apparently the very basic precept is, we've built a nuclear reactor underground.
No. Not only that, but the way that they talk about it, though, is... It's a nuclear reactor, but the way that they talk about it, I'm like, this is the fucking Large Hadron Collider. Because it's an
article, definitely sounds like that.
Because it's an article accelerator, because they're trying to explore they're trying to investigate
to make cheap forms of electricity.
They straight up say, we are trying to observe the nature of the atom itself. And they have a particle accelerator.
Yep.
And I was like... They're colliding. I was like, this is the LHC.
Yeah,
There's so many things where I was like, wait a minute, this is hitting a little close to home in these episodes.
Also, I want to point out this is the episode where the first actual appearance of Bessie.
Yeah.
Because we got Bessie's predecessor in Spearhead from Space, but this is the actual episode with Bessie in it.
Now, I have a theory. Now, was that the same car?
They might have just changed the color on it, but it's meant to be a different car.
Because like when you think about like, you know, because I'm looking at this from like a production standpoint, if they've like allotted so much money to this show, and God knows it shows in like these episodes, but like if they've allotted so much money to a show. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna be like,
there's no way they're buying another car.
They're not buying a second car. They're just gonna they're gonna take the same car from the first episode that they're like, well, it's not mine, but they're gonna like make a few tweaks or something, if that, and they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, this is the new car now.
Yeah, this is Bessie, not that other piece of shit. Yeah. So they arrive at the research center to find Dr. Lawrence. He's talking about how they keep encountering power fluctuations and their research is falling so far behind.
Oh my God, all the power fluctuations in this fucking episode.
And also, the thing I hate is, like, they set Dr. Lawrence up as this red herring. Because you watch the previous serial, Spearhead from Space, and Dr. Lawrence is like a fucking copy-paste of the dude from Spearhead from Space.
I honestly thought he was going to reveal himself to be a Silurian.
Right, no, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, he's our fucking villain.
Yeah,
there's no doubt in my mind.
He's literally wearing like a man suit or whatever, and he's just kind of like, keep on with the investigation, why don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't shut down. No, keep this particle accelerator running.
Dr. Lawrence is pissed off, and he's also pissed off at the fact that Unit's showing up and like all up in his shit.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is our villain. There's no way it's somebody else.
Yeah.
He's Prick from the get. So like this has got to be the one. So they take them on a tour of the building and they show them the cyclotron, a proton accelerator. And Jesus Christ. It's basically just a fucking spinning wheel. It's like could you at least pretend like you fucking know what an atomic reactor looks like?
It kind of reminds me of like when we go to District East and like the little thing that you put your beers in. Like if it was painted red on the inside.
It looks like a Lazy Susan that they just put lights on. That's all it is, man. Ugh. So the doctor and Liz go and they look at this thing and they're like, "Oh, what's causing these power outages? We don't know."
Yeah.
And so Dr. Quinn,
medicine woman.
Yeah, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. Dr. Quinn is talking about the cyclotron.
Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to not say that to myself every time? I
know. Trust me. You and I both watched all of these the bulk of these episodes today, and yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, I'm gonna make a fucking Dr. Quinn joke, and no one's gonna get it but me.
Yeah.
But nope, you got it too. So hey, all right. So they're talking about it. They're talking about the cyclotron. And it's like, if this thing fails, it's gonna turn into like a giant atomic bomb, right? They're like, yeah, we know, but we've stopped it every single time. It's totally fine. We got this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you could tell this was made before 3 Mile Island in Chernobyl, when we were just like, oh, we can fix that easy. It's no problem.
What kind of possible fallout could there be from a nuclear meltdown?
Yeah, what could possibly happen?
What's the worst that could happen?
Yep. So
Fukushima.
So many. So they go on and then they're told about the two miners from the two spelunkers from the beginning. One of whom was killed.
Wait, what was the potholers is what they call
potholers? Yeah,
what the
awful.
What the fuck is a potholer?
Somebody who fills in potholes, or somebody who makes potholes. I don't know.
I
have never heard that as a term for somebody who explores underground caves.
That seems to me to be very. It's almost like a, like I have to go to hospital. It's a very British sounding thing.
Yeah, I've never heard of it though.
Do you want to go potholing? What the fuck? No. Fuck you. I don't want
to fuck up my suspension. What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah. So then they're told about these two who went into the cave and were attacked by something, we don't know what. And here's first fault I find with this serial. They talk about they legit talk about this guy, and the doctor's like, "My God, his brain's been de-evolved." I'm like, "What?" And he's in this hospital room and he's just drawing on the walls. And it's like fairly detailed drawings, right? But you're like looking at this, and the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, his brain's devolved from that, to that of a caveman." I'm like, "What?"
Now, was that okay? I got a question for you. Was that ever explained? How that worked?
It was never explained.
Because I felt so stupid watching this and going like, did I just not pay enough close attention? Or like, where did they explain that like the man's brain, like all these people? Because over the course of the episodes, there are numerous people whose brains de-evolve. Right?
Actually, no. Now that I think about it, I think he was like the. Oh, I'm sorry. There's like one person who was like straight up like de-evolved to like quote unquote the caveman state. Then there was another one later who was just very much frightened and just became super violent for no reason whatsoever.
The doctor, God, I don't know who was writing this, but like there was the doctor straight up said like his brain has been de-evolved 2 million years, and I'm like,
that's the dude in the I was like, nope, incorrect.
Humans have not been around that long, homie, but okay. But whatever. I'm nitpicking at that point, but
it's fine.
I still just like I was waiting for like know I don't need my handheld for every little fucking thing that happens in a
I would
thing,
like some explanation.
but like,
though.
yeah, how? Why is the thing? Is it the Silurians? Is it the LHC thing itself? Is it the weird like neuron wave thing, or like what's the reason for this? And we never got an explanation.
Never got an explanation. So they go on, and then there's arguments with the security staff because the doctor doesn't have the proper security clearance. And Lethbridge Stewart is like, don't fucking worry about him. He's my responsibility.
Yeah.
By the way, remember this, because it's going to come back later on.
Yeah.
So, this fucking episode is just... So, they start running this cyclotron, and then... Sure enough, the power starts draining and everything starts fucking up and everyone freaks out.
Everybody's losing their shit.
Everyone's losing their shit, and one of the scientists apparently de-evolves and starts having a freak out and starts trying to choke out one of the fucking other people, and so they have to like tear him away, and then the doctor has to go in and fix this shit. And then he's like, hey, has there been any sort of pattern to these power losses? And this guy, and the Dr. Quinn is like, oh, no, it's been pretty random. He's like, do you have a log so I can see what we're looking at here? And he's like, yeah, here you go. The doctor looks at the book for like a second and a half. He's like, there's pages ripped out of this.
Yeah.
And Quinn's like, what?
So
how did that happen?
So to kind of get more into the broader strokes about all of this, because like all of this is explained in these episodes, but like just to get into the like this basically like sets off this giant fucking like who done it kind of sorta or whatever.
And again, like I said, the red herring is they try to paint Dr. Lawrence. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's got to be him.
Yeah.
And so you go through this episode like trying like, well, how is Lawrence doing this? He's here this moment. It can't, like, it's...
Sure.
Who else could it be but Lawrence? But then...
You find out it's Quinn.
You find out later on it's Quinn. And not because Quinn... But, and we would think, it's like Quinn is working with this female doctor, and she's like, you need to tell them what's going on. They don't, like, you're gonna get other people hurt, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, nope, not doing it. I was like, okay, so he's the Silurian. That's gotta be it, right? And then you find out, oh no, he's not a Silurian. He's just an asshole scientist who found the Silurians on some random jaunt through the caves.
And he basically just wants to like copyright his research, or he just wants to like be like, I want to be the one that made this discovery. I want to be credited for it.
I want the credit. Even there's a point where like the female scientist is like, you should probably tell the doctor because he seems like he could believe you in this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like the only one of these people who would actually believe you if you said... He's like, no, he just wants to steal my research. I was like, well, and not your research. You just admitted you're fucking getting assistance from aliens.
And also, like, the reason why he kind of gets found out is, it's a series of, it's kind of... I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of boring to try and explain just a little bit, because it's like, oh look, his house is over here, but the farm was miles over here. By the way, I thought they were kilometers, not miles. And
they're basically caught in a series of half truths and lies.
Yeah,
and it's not at all well done.
And the doctor literally shows up to his house and it's just like, my, it's quite warm in here. What? Almost like a reptile house at the zoo. What happened? Yeah. And it's like, no, air conditioning not working.
I want to point out here, so so like after all this, the doctor is obviously suspicious of everybody who works in this fucking place. So he's just like, I'm gonna go down in these caves and check it out myself. I'm not bringing anybody there, so I'm gonna go do this.
Which you keep hearing is verboten, especially for Liz.
Yeah.
Which I had a kind of a problem with that.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's too dangerous.
We're gonna get to that in a minute because I do want to talk about this, but so. I love his outfit because it's like half Alan Grant, half Austin Powers. He's got this fucking ascot on. I'm like, what? Because it's like he wears like the cravat, with his normal outfit.
Yeah.
But it's like he changes into a completely different outfit and he's still like got that sort of vibe going. And I'm like, I mean, homie, you do you. You're still suave as fuck, but that's dumb.
Who wears a cravat down to a mine like that?
That's what I'm wondering.
The doctor, that's who.
Yeah, I mean, like what was it? Fucking Alan Grant wore a fucking bandana because he was trying to cover his neck from the sun.
He's Australian, though. I mean, shit. Whatever.
Anyway, so...
He was digging for dinosaurs.
Right, so...
And guess which one found a real one? Anyways,
So the Doctor goes into the caves and then, like, within seconds is attacked by the same Godzilla bootleg from the beginning of the episode. And it ends on this doofy-ass look that he has at least 20 more times in this serial. He's just like, oh no, what happened? And then it cuts to the credits. And you're just like, well, that's sort of like, well, that's a quick episode. But... So then you go to episode 2, and it starts right back there. Where, like I said, we're 0 to 100. Like, the episode ends with him about to get mauled by a fucking bootleg T-Rex. And it's like, well, where do we go from here? And then out of nowhere, somebody starts fucking up playing the fucking, the Song of Time from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
On a bootleg ocarina. It's just like, boop, 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 boop. And the fucking dinosaur's like, alright, I'm out. And it's just like, no explanation. Doctor's like, what the shit? It's so dumb. And then...
You later find out what the source of it was.
No, but then we go back and, like... The Brigadier is complaining to Liz because he just now noticed that the Doctor is missing. He's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like... Hey, didn't you just say in the last episode that the Doctor is your personal responsibility? Where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
You can't throw this on her. It's just, again, like what happened in the last episode where we mentioned that, like, fucking Brigadier treats her like a petulant child the entire time.
Yeah.
This one is like fucking off the page.
It's
like
ridiculous.
she's a Cambridge trained scientist, and like later in these episodes he's like, I need your help manning the phone. She's like, dude, I'm a fucking scientist, I am not a secretary. And the Doctor's like, nah, go with him, I'm cool. Like, no, fuck you.
Like she wants to go down to the caves to investigate, and it's like oh no, it's too dangerous, especially for a woman. And I'm like,
fuck you.
Okay, here we are. Yep. This is straight up. This is the kind of doctor. This is the kind of bullshit that Capaldi's doctor was like, you're gonna unlearn that.
So you gotta unlearn that. You gotta fucking do it fast. Yeah. No, this is definitely like, again, it's very much a product of its time.
Bill would not hang out with this doctor.
No, Bill would kick this doctor square in the dick.
Yes.
Yeah, and would be absolutely in the right to do so.
Yeah.
So then, obviously, there's more complaints from the security about how there's, like, fucking more shit going on. Dr. Lawrence and Dr. Quinn get into arguments because Dr. Quinn can't provide an explanation for why the power failures keep happening. And Dr. Quinn's like, well, I don't know. I mean, all the machinery is working fine. It's not us. And again, you just keep thinking, oh, well, Lawrence knows what it is, but he's just trying to cover his own ass. And then the Doctor, and then, again, the Brigadier is, like, chewing out Liz because the Doctor went off on his own, but then out of nowhere, the Doctor just fucking walks back in. He's like, hey, it's up. And we're just like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. And he's just like, yeah, I saw a dinosaur down in the caves, and the Brigadier's like, no. No, you didn't. And the Doctor's like, no, yeah, I did. I fucking saw a dinosaur down there. He's like, no. And he's like, bitch, you just literally... We've been through 2 separate serials where you've seen shit that you never have seen before, and you're thinking, oh, dinosaurs is where I draw the line. There's no fucking way it's dinosaurs. No, I don't believe it. So the Doctor leads them into the cave. They hear rumbling, and then out of nowhere... fucking the security chief of this installation just starts firing off randomly. I think nicks one of his own people and then is mauled by the fucking dinosaur again. Like, they're like, hey, by the way, look for this dinosaur. It'll fuck you up if you start attacking people.
Yeah.
It's just like
the number one takeaway anybody going down there from unit should probably fucking keep in mind is, hey, if something's moving and it doesn't look like you, don't shoot at it. Like,
Yeah, don't
why?
shoot it.
What are you doing? Like,
Yeah. So they take the unconscious guard back up top because obviously they're just like, well, got to get him to the doctor. The physician.
Yeah.
Because again, we've got a lot of
Yeah.
physicians/scientists, all with doctors in the name, but God knows that's going to fucking confuse it. So we're going to go with either physician or scientist. We got to remember that this time because it's going to get fucking confusing otherwise. Anyway, so the doctor also finds samples of blood by this unconscious guard, takes them. He's like, all right, I'll help him back up top. You guys keep looking for this thing. So then we cut to an exterior shot of the rolling fields of this English countryside. And then we cut to inside what I assume is from the creature's point of view. And it's just trundling along through, and it's got It's got a Darth Vader breathing problem.
Mm-hmm.
Even though later on you find it's not a machine, so that seems unnecessary.
It sounds like. Do you remember back in the day with the Halloween masks that were
yes,
hard plastic?
It was exactly
it's exactly that.
They put a lav mic inside the Halloween mask.
Yeah,
and I was just like, that's
it looked,
awful.
It looked like one of those yellow visor helmet things that used to be on those dollar store.
It was like a knockoff Power Rangers helmet.
Yeah.
From the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's...
Wow, I'm the one that didn't mention Power Rangers this episode.
No, it's fun. I am okay with that. So, then we see this creature sort of wander through. The doctor tests the blood samples, and apparently the blood is reptilian, so they're like, oh, maybe it's the dinosaur. He's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's that creature, because I don't think they said they didn't shoot the big dinosaur. They shot another creature.
Yeah.
It must be another type of these creatures down here. Maybe? Question mark? Ugh. So then, honestly, we're already going along with this description. Let's just put it this way. So, eventually, they get down, they find they find one of these creatures, and then you find out this entire time Quinn is working with the Silurians because he wants to learn their secrets. And he wants to then, patent that research for himself. So, even though people have been attacked, people have been killed, he still wants to do this and doesn't care. So again, you find out that the villain truly is man and his greed. That is the true villain.
The most dangerous animal of all.
Man.
Yes, man.
Yes, man. No, so then this guy... fucking Quinn then decides, oh, I'll help you. I was like, he goes to the Silurians. The Silurians are like, we need to get this guy back because he was wounded, and we are concerned that your soldiers might kill him. He's like, well, I'll try and get him, but then I'm going to need you guys to tell me all I need to know for my research. And they're like, all right, here, we're going to give you this little communicator thing. If you turn this on, it'll attract him.
Yeah.
I mean... This fucking... It literally is... It does look like a fucking Power Rangers communicator.
Yeah.
But again, it beams out that jank-ass Ocarina of Time music.
Yeah.
It's like... I mean, that fucking beeping is incessant for the next 4 episodes. And it's so agitating. Could you not have just done that once? Just one time... We understand it. He's attracted by that. We don't have to keep doing it. But then you find out later that the Silurians have telekinesis. So anytime they use their telekinetic powers, it's that same... Jesus God.
It's literally the worst.
It is the worst.
I want to knock points off this episode just because of that sound.
Oh, we're gonna. Do not worry. So then this other Silurian escapes... Apparently, Dr. Quinn dies, although they never explain if the Silurian killed him or if he just died from a heart attack. It's never explained, but everybody assumes, the Silurians murdered him. Even though,
they never explain this. And
they never explain how he died.
And it makes no sense, too, because, he's housing the Silurian that's wounded, and, he's got the heat cranked all the way the fuck up.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Did he die of heat stroke or something?
There's no kind of, like, maybe? I don't know.
But that's the thing. Like, the doctor goes in, finds out he's dead, says he's dead to Liz, but then doesn't explain what he died of. And again, he might not have known, and that's fine. But then later, the lady scientist who knows that Dr. Quinn was working with the Silurians, like, literally says, I went to his house, and he was dead. The Silurians killed him. How do you know that?
Potholers. More like plot holers.
Hey. Oh shit! I mean, they go back into these caves again, and then I mean, I swear to God, like.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Because. You know, and I don't want to. I don't want to spoil a whole lot. Also, for this, because I want to give incentive for people to go and watch it as well.
I don't actually want to give them incentive to go watch this because this episode sucks.
Okay, fine, fair enough. That's your opinion.
I'm sorry. Continue.
I got a question for you.
All right.
If this were a new Who, modern Who, 1 hour long episode, how would this be paced, and what would you have done to basically take everything that's in this story and make this story a modernized New Who episode? How would you do that?
Well, first of all, the biggest problem is that it takes them, you get through, I want to say, 3 episodes
before you realize what the fuck's actually going on.
Well, it takes 3 episodes to actually figure out, what is actually going on. And not only that, then they introduce a power struggle within the Silurians. They introduce a fucking pandemic-level disease that's released by the Silurians to kill off the human race because they're just we don't feel like fucking fighting them, so let's just murder them with germ warfare.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we need to siphon energy off of your fucking cyclotron to, revive the rest of our race and then feed energy into our super weapon to essentially sterilize the planet?
Something also the moon. And
apparently their original reason for going into stasis, because apparently they were alive at the time of the dinosaurs. They ruled the planet, and they went into hibernation because they detected a planet-sized object hurtling toward the Earth that would have caused an extinction-level event. Now, you hear that, and you're like, oh, you mean the meteorite that fucking broke apart Pangea.
Yeah.
Right? And then...
Wait, what? No. I'm sorry,
What? Yeah, so...
No, I don't think... No, it didn't break up Pangea.
Not Pangea, I'm sorry, but, it's
it wiped out the dinosaurs.
It was the extinction-level event that essentially wiped out the dinosaurs.
Pangea was just a natural... Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right, that's on me. So, you hear that at first...
I would love to see a meteorite that could, it's gonna break up continents.
Yeah,
That's a powerful fucking meteorite, dude.
Why not?
Sorry.
Hey, maybe that would have made more sense in this case. But they were like, oh yeah, this planet level thing, and it was just the doctor was like, no, that's the moon, you dumbass. That was the moon entering the Earth's orbit.
I'm just
Your extinction level event never happened. You fucking went into fucking stasis for no reason.
I'm just imagining Ted just going, what? What? No. What? No. No. The moon?
No. No.
Oi.
Yeah. So you have a pandemic. You have that, and then of all things, they're like, oh, we need to siphon energy off to not only revive our entire species, but then we also need energy to fucking create this weapon that's gonna essentially terraform the planet to our specifications and kill all you fuckers off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctor's like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking turn this place into Chernobyl and then fuck off. How about that? So when I say this episode goes from 0 to 100 within the first episode, and then they basically plateau there, and then they constantly, over the next 5 episodes, have to keep upping the ante. Brian, when I said that to you, you probably thought I was kidding.
No.
Yeah, and then it turns out, oh no, I wasn't. They wrote themselves. This episode is basically they wrote themselves into a corner, and then they couldn't. They basically kept upping the ante. It's like, and then a bomb dropped, and then the sun exploded, and then the universe imploded. I was just like, fucking pick something. Don't keep adding shit on shit. Ugh. So here, let's make this.
On.
So let's just.
Buddy, shit just went from 0 to 100 real fucking quick.
I did. It did. It did. It really did. Okay, so let's go. So I you know what? We sort of went back and forth between this old one. So let's just break down the categories bit by bit. Okay, first of all, plot. Fucking absolute dog shit.
Yes.
I would say this is like a D. This is like D level at best.
This is what happens when you get unmedicated and uncaffeinated me, and you put me in a room and say, "Okay, write a script." Because
yeah, no, this is definitely ADHD fucking to a T.
And yes, I have no problem calling myself out like that.
Yeah.
This is very much a unedited and like the first draft me like, oh well, this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen and oh yeah, this is gonna lead to that and this the other and oh yeah, ooh and then they're gonna do that. Like
yeah, I literally spent half of this fucking half of this fucking serial just asking the question. So when are you gonna explain this?
I'm the one with the ADHD, and even I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's
how bad this was.
Yes, I know. All right, so plot D, and that's being generous, to be fair.
D minus F.
You want to give it an F? I'm fine with giving it an F.
I'm gonna give it an F.
Give it an F. All right, I'm fine with that.
This was what the. This puts the F
you know what?
Fuck.
Like I said, I was being generous with that D. I was like, you know what? No, fuck it. This episode does suck.
You're being generous with that D, Daddy?
You know it, girl.
Yeah.
No, okay, so characters.
D, yeah.
I mean, characters, there's like fucking three actual, like, there's like three characters that I remember. None of them likable. And then the rest of them are just interchangeable doctors.
We're not talking about, like, when we talk about this, we're not talking about Brigadier, Doctor, and Liz. We're talking about, like...
No, we're just talking, like, other memorable characters, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? There are none. It's just basically old white scientists who don't want to admit they're wrong and would rather fucking die.
Sounds like England to me in the 70s.
Sounds like England to me now. Sounds like everywhere to me now.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. There is a literal line in this fucking serial where the guy is like the Dr. Lawrence, the head scientist, he's basically been, all of his power's been taken away, this place is getting shut down, he's fucking pissed, but then everybody in the fucking complex has been infected by this fucking virus that the Silurians released, and he's even got it, and he's
literally got it visible on his face.
Right, and like Liz is like, yeah, you need to go get your fucking shot so that you don't die. He's like, no. He like literally refuses, and he's just like, I'm not going to get this shot. All of my employees are feeling the ill effects of this unnecessary jab for this imaginary pandemic. And we both looked at this and we were like, Jesus Christ, it's literally today, and this was shot almost 40 fucking years ago.
Yeah, like, not to make this political.
No, but if you watch this, you're like,
this is straight up anti-vaxxer, far-right Trumper bullshit. This is straight up just like no collusion, no, you know, like there's no virus, or like this dude is straight up talking about an imaginary pandemic and like the viruses, and like I'm not gonna get it, I'm not gonna get the vaccine, and I'm like, what, like I had to do a double take. I was like,
yeah, again,
when was this shot?
This was shot in 1970, and you're like, because if you took that dialogue, you could literally put it into a show today about some fucking rabid anti-vaxxer, and you wouldn't fucking notice the difference.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Yeah. That's essentially it's essentially the Alex Jones mindset. And it's no joke. It's fucking legit.
Like straight up, like it's the what's his name, the Kennedy, the junior, who's just
RFK Jr.
Well,
RFK Jr. Yeah.
Vaccines cause all. It's like what?
Nope.
Shut up.
Just
shut up.
All right, so characters, another fucking F, because there's not one, aside from the Doctor and Liz, honestly, and even, to be fair, even the Brigadier is a fucking dick in this episode.
Yeah.
Because A, he's misogynist, B, like, literally by the end of the episode, the Doctor's like, okay, I think if we start reviving the Silurians one by one, we can broker a deal. Because originally the Doctor was like, oh, give them the fucking Sahara Desert. Nobody lives there anyway, and the climate is perfect for them, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's perfect for them. Just put them there.
Let them go hang out by a volcano or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so, by the end, the Brigadier's like, he's just like, yeah, Doctor, we'll totally do that. We'll wait till you guys come back. And then the Doctor leaves, and then out of nowhere, just fucking explosions all over the goddamn English countryside. And fucking the Doctor realizes, oh, god damn it, Brigadier. And I was just like, little did we know that the Lethbridge Stewart family was starting to set a precedent with that.
Ooh.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong, but it hurts to admit to that.
Yep.
Because fucking what's her name?
Yeah, it turns out species genocide is a family business.
Yeah. I mean, and thank God that, like, because one of my favorite, you could kind of tie it to this.
I mean, again, this is only the second, like, full serial where the Brigadier is, like, a main character.
Yeah. I've not seen where the second Doctor meets him, but, like,
it's the War Games, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that one eventually. But I'm just saying, like,
Anyways.
this is like where he's like a main character, not just like a side character.
Gotcha. So, but like,
yeah,
if we can real fast.
But yeah, for characters, I'm saying F. What about you?
I'm gonna say F as well.
Yeah,
everybody was like,
it's ass.
Now there was a point. Well, okay, I'll give it like a D, because, like, aside from Lethbridge being the genocidal douchebag at the very, very end,
yeah,
he was very much standing up for his men, and he was standing his ground, and he was,
Yeah,
like,
no, that's true. All right, fine. We'll say all right. We'll give it a D.
I will give him credit where credit is due on that one. But you're right, because oh god, I can't remember her name. I love her though, but like his daughter from
Kate.
Yeah. Kate Stewart. That's right.
Well, she goes by Kate Stewart for like the first, and then you find out later it's Lethbridge Stewart. She didn't want to trade on his name. I get it. That fucking face.
But
we're gonna get to that in a second. But Jesus.
But because I would love to kind of, like, in context the speech that 12 gives when it's the Zygons, and they're about to, like, press that button and, like, cause war, and I'm like, man, like,
you can tell he practiced that multiple times over.
And I can't help but feel that, like, this might have been one of the things that, like, he's thinking about as he's talking about that speech. Because it's like, your father, man, made some
fucked up decisions. Yeah, so characters, fine. We'll give it a D. Special effects, Jesus Christ. I mean, again, it's the 70s, so for what it's worth, the special effects are not going to be, like, the best. But I want to point out that, like there was explosions, but other than that, like aside from, like, the explosions and, like, the little blinky lights on the fucking Silurians' heads,
yeah,
there wasn't much else.
Well, there was some explosions.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was the explosions, and then the blinky lights for whenever they were doing telepathy or telekinetic shit. But that was it. Wasn't really anything else, right?
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
Special effect wise, well, hey, wait, hold on. We gotta talk about, because, like, VFX, I mean, that includes costumes, and we got the Silurians, and we have giant dinosaur to talk about.
I mean, again, they look, first of all, the Silurians look like rejects from a fucking aquarium, like a third-rate aquarium.
The
statuette.
The Silurians look like someone, like, melted the Gorn.
That is exactly what it is. And
they melted the Gorn from Star Trek Next Generation.
But instead of having like a moving mouth, they have that weird, like, throbbing proboscis out the front of their face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, just fucking give them a mouth, like an actual mouth, please. That's so unsettling.
Like, I really love what they did in Modern Who with the Silurians.
Yes, no, the Silurians are great in Modern Who.
They look great in Modern Who. Here, they look like dog shit, but
yeah.
whatever.
I mean...
And then the giant dinosaur
It is like legit just a fucking Godzilla knockoff. It is a Land of the Lost looking bullshit.
Yeah, no, Land of the Lost kind of like that like stop motion.
Yeah,
like,
it's not great.
It's
And again, even when they bring it in for those two things, you only see it for like 2 frames, just it moving, and then you just see the claw hand moving at them.
Well, what they were doing there, because like I love talking about this kind of stuff, because like I love talking about special effects, which honestly, what is it like? The word tokusatsu means like special effect or special filming effect, right? Practical effects.
Yeah.
And I love and I will argue that Doctor Who is British tokusatsu.
Sure.
You know, almost in the vein of Ultraman when it comes to stuff like this. And you have this giant dinosaur, and one of the things that they did to try and... Because you have to think about how this was aired. This was aired like 1 episode at a time, I believe, once a week.
Yeah, for basically like a month and a half.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, I could be wrong.
No, you're not. You're correct.
But, so, they would use those effects to, like, you know, the best effect possible to try and get the best kind of emotion out of you. So, when you watch that, like, second episode, and you see I think it's the end of episode 2, or it's in the episode, I can't remember. God, these bleed together so much. But, like, at the end of one of the first 2 episodes, the Doctor is in the cave and he gets startled by the thing, and you've kind of got this, like, idea that there's a thing that's down there scaring people.
The Silurian or the dinosaur?
The dinosaur.
Yeah.
You literally, at the very end of that episode, the Doctor is, like, looking up, frightened, and, like, for, like, maybe a second, if not, you see the dinosaur, and like then it cuts straight to the credits.
Yeah.
And there was no VCR back in the day or whatever, so you would catch the thing and it would jump scare the fuck out of you, and you would be like, "What the fuck was that? Oh my god!" And like you would have to wait to see it again.
Yeah, you see it, and then but then as you get into the later episodes, you're like, "How did anyone think this was fucking?"
And then
scary?
you see it, and you're like, "Oh,
yeah,
It reminds me of how Patton Oswalt was like. To a small extent, he's like talking about like, yeah, you ever been like scared of a moth? It's like not a spider, but like a moth, and it's like you're frightened for a second, and then you're like, oh, that thing's gotta die. No,
yeah,
I'm not gonna be scared of a moth.
Yeah, it was like
that.
It was like It's like Barney on meth. it's like you see it for like a fraction of a second at the beginning. You're like, oh no, what happened? And then you see it again, and you're like,
oh
really?
No, it's
really.
It's Florida Barney.
Yeah, it's not great. So, okay, for special effects, again, we have to. I hate using this term, but it's all about historical relativism. So, given the time frame, I guess I'll give it like a C+. I'm not giving it any higher though. I'm sorry. Like there's not enough there going on for me to actually be like, yeah, this deserves like a B or something.
Yeah.
So I give it a C. C+.
For special effects?
Yes. I'm not going any higher than that. I'm sorry.
For the time and the budget allotted, like I'll give it a C+ as well.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than the other 2 categories we've discussed thus far, but not much though. Okay, so was the Doctor effective in this episode? Yes.
Yes.
There's no argument there. Because A, he's not being plagued by regeneration sickness in this episode. In this episode, the Doctor, A, fixes, like, completely fixes this car. He basically rebuilt this car from scratch, right? Mm-hmm. Then he like legit pulls a Fonzie. He just like conk, and then it starts.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that. He then goes into a nuclear power plant, does not know the technology at all, but is able to disclock everything and disengage the correct things in the correct sequences to basically prevent a meltdown.
Sure.
Within the first episode. Then, later on, he attempts to broker a fucking peace deal between a alien civilization and humanity. Single-handedly, I want to point out. Because again, the humans want to blow these fuckers up. Most of the Silurians want to blow humanity up.
Now, can I bring this argument up in a weird point where you're trying to make a different argument?
Okay.
The Silurians.
Yeah.
we call them an alien race, but they exist on
So,
Earth underground.
That is another point. That's another thing that isn't fucking explained. Because as I understood it, at least from what New Who was, that explained it, the Silurians essentially evolved to become a race of bipedal.
Yes.
Like, they were basically the... Essentially,
if apes were not...
If it wasn't apes, if we evolved from lizards instead of apes, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, they are always... Like, the argument for the Silurians is like, this is our planet. It's always been our planet. We were here before you. Right? But the Doctor keeps calling them alien because, again, he's from another world.
Well, yeah, it makes sense for him.
But then he never explains to them. He's like, hey guys, these guys were technically around before you were.
I think the thing that would have helped broker things a little bit more is like, yes, okay, fine, they're Silurians and you're humans, but you're both Earthlings.
Yeah. But he never explains it that way.
That's the best way to, like, you need to figure, like, you both can't come from this planet.
Yeah. And
It's
that's
not
the thing.
like-
But
it's
the
not-
way he describes it is that they came to this planet and they...
Well, he didn't know.
No, but that's the thing. No, I get that. And you find that out later, that they, evolutionarily speaking, evolved around similar ways as we did.
Yeah.
Right? But they don't explain it in... Again, yet another thing they don't explain in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you had just given that as a... I feel like that would have gone... You're right. It would have gone way more.
It would have done so much fucking legwork.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they don't do that. And then, so he rebuilds a card from scratch. He fucking shuts down a nuclear reactor before a meltdown. He fucking attempts to broker a peace deal between two warring species. Then, he fucking single-handedly comes up with a cure for an extinction-level pandemic of the human race.
Yeah.
Fucking... That should have been the fucking chuff of the episode. That should have been it, right?
Yeah.
Then, he fucking causes the same nuclear reactor to melt down, overloading the Silurians' equipment, preventing their fucking doomsday takeover, and then goes back and deactivates the exact same nuclear reactor, preventing the meltdown. In one fucking serial, he literally stops, like, 8 crises.
He does a lot.
Yeah, so, like, if any serial proved the Doctor's necessity, it's this one. You know? Because he does so much on his own. Not only that, does that while everyone else around him is like, no, you're wrong, we don't believe you. Like, while everybody else is essentially being an impediment to him fixing the problem, he's just like, alright, well, I'll fucking do it on my own then. Whatever. Anyway. So, yeah, for that one. Is the Doctor effective? Yeah, A+. He obviously is. There's no arguing on that. Actually, you know what? No, I take that back. I'll give him a B+ on this. Because he is incredibly effective, but at the same time, he's also like... He's like, oh, well, I'm not being outwardly... I'm being coy. I'm being cagey.
Yeah.
And a lot of the roadblocks that everyone else was throwing up at him could have just been like, okay, I have this theory. The Silurians are just essentially evolved from lizards like you all evolved from apes. They've been on this planet equally long as you have. I think you guys need to, like, seriously talk to them. All he does is like, no, I'm not going to tell you everything, but I need you to listen to me, even though I'm not being forthcoming with all of the information that would get you to trust me.
Yeah, and one of the things that he also withholds is Dr. Quinn being dead, too.
Yeah.
Because I guess...
He only tells Liz, and then later on he gets caught knowing that he knew that.
Yeah. And there's something weird about, like, he's trying to, like, keep information from, like, because, like, Dr. Quinn being dead, something, I can't fucking remember.
No, it's a lot, like, there's a lot of shit he just could have been, like, if he was just upfront, would have been done.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't happen, so fucking... Alright, so gadgets. First time in Pertwee's run that the sonic screwdriver is mentioned in this episode.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't use it.
He can't seem to find it.
But here's the kicker, right? there's an actual video online right now. You can go on YouTube. It literally has the breakdown of every single time the sonic screwdriver was used in Doctor Who. They literally break it down.
Oh my God.
Frame by frame. I was like, Jesus Christ. I know you and I are Doctor Who fans, but whoever did that is a fucking uber fan.
Yeah.
And hats off to them.
They're an uber Hoober fan.
They're an uber Who fan. Uber Hoober fan. I mean, so yeah. The first mention by John Pertwee's Doctor of the sonic screwdriver. Doesn't use it, but it's the first time he mentions it.
Now, if I remember correctly, by the way, the second Doctor has a screwdriver.
He does, and yeah, and he uses it. But I think, like when I looked at that video, it's like the second Doctor, Troughton's Doctor, only uses it like 6 times, and then Pertwee's Doctor uses it like 37 times.
Yeah.
So there's a huge jump in.
Got to sell them toys, baby.
Yeah, right. So.
Sell them sonic screwdrivers.
Sell them sonic screwdrivers. So then, aside from the mention of the sonic screwdriver, you've got the cyclotron, which is a very large percentage of this episode. Again, not impressive when it's just a lazy Susan spinning some lights. But it is integral to the episode, so I guess we've got to give that credit. We've got the Power Rangers S-communicator to attract Silurian's pet dinosaur.
Sure.
But then, again, other than that, and again, that alone is so fucking irritating. That knocks it down a couple grades.
Well, what about the best gadget ever made? Gun?
That doesn't count.
I'm kidding.
Even though, but then that's the other thing. The Silurians don't have weapons except their telekinesis and mind powers.
Yeah, they have that weird, eye thing, and it's like...
Which, also,
dead,
one of
dead.
it's like, they have the eye thing, which is never explained. Again, you just have to guess, it's telekinesis or telepathy.
Do you think a Silurian has ever accidentally killed somebody by, not controlling that eye thing? Because, they're able to... The leader died by the guy going, up, and, getting him.
Yep.
Do you think, I don't know.
Yes, it's obviously happened.
Some kind of weird Cyclops-type event happens where... It's like, I can't control it.
No.
Mom, no.
Yeah.
What have I done?
What have I done? So, gadgets, I think you gotta give it a D. It's not great.
Yeah.
Because there's not, there's not a whole lot going. They've got their Uber weapon, which will terraform the Earth to their specifications, but will kill the human race. But then, the Doctor literally activates the cyclotron, overloads it, and it blows up, so you don't even get to see it. So it's just a poof of smoke and it's gone.
Oh no, you mean to tell me that thing that has this giant fucking whatever, this giant plot point, they didn't have the budget to build it, so they just fucking it's gone.
It's a vacuum cleaner, a hose, and we put a little bit of explosive on it to psst. Oh, it's broken.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I give it a D.
Yeah.
I give it a D.
I'll give it a C for creativity, but it's not a.
So we'll say a
passing
C- as an average. All right, last but not least, technobabble. Holy shit, this episode is nothing but technobabble.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to explain the workings of the cyclotron, then the Silurians are explaining the reasonings for what they do, and we almost get reversing the polarity of the neutron flow, because he literally uses the term neutron flow when he's attempting to reverse the overload of the cyclotron. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, is he going to say it? And he says neutron flow. I'm like, and he's like, I'm waiting for him to say reverse the polarity. He never does that, and I was like, son of a bitch. I'm waiting for it. You'll get to it. I'm sure I'm going to get to it, but I can get into this episode, so I guess... But that's the thing, none of this technobabble adds to the story. It's not useful.
No.
Because really, it's, it's padded... That's what this serial is. It's 2 episodes of, actual shit going on, and then 4 episodes of fucking padding. Because, again, they wrote themselves into a corner in the first fucking episode, and then they just had to keep raising the stakes every single episode to keep the story going, to make it interesting, because they fucked themselves so early. Yeah. So it's just, I gotta give it an F. The fucking technobabble is ridiculous.
So every episode is about 24 minutes long.
Yeah.
And there's 6 episodes. So this is about approximately a 2-hour long like serial. So this was basically
This is 2 hours that very easily could have been cut in half.
yes. This is I basically watched a movie, and this was not a good movie.
No, it wasn't. So I would honestly legit say this is like a D- episode.
Yeah.
And again, I'm being generous on that. In my opinion, like if I was gonna be rude about it, I'd be a full on fucking F. But I'm gonna again. It had some moments. I mean, fucking John Pertwee's face anytime he gets attacked is just like, it's like he's orgasming and stroking out at the exact same moment.
No.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
It just that look is just fucking ridiculous. Ugh. So yeah, I Doctor Who and the Silurians gets a fucking D- from me, my dude.
Yeah, same.
So the episode overall D-.
You're not a fan.
No, not a fan at all. Hopefully our next episode is gonna be better, but I don't know. Ugh. Hopefully our next episode. I mean, ugh. It's.
I mean, I'm definitely seeing what, like, I love going back and, like, learning my history, but my God, like, just watching this, I'm like, yeah, I like the new stuff.
Yeah, it's like this should stay in the annals of history. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just because the problem is that it was an episode that you could tell plateaued early. They couldn't write their way back out of it without fucking falling over themselves trying to figure something out.
The biggest sin that this serial commits, or any Doctor Who serial commits, is that it's boring. Now,
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing that makes me sad
because
most of all.
Doctor Who is supposed to be imaginative. I think I'm probably going to misquote this, but I remember hearing something about how, what is it? Scientists want to write for Star Trek, but like writers want to write for Doctor Who, and it's because Doctor Who allows you basically creative freedom to do whatever you want to. There's a guy who can never die, or girl in some instances, and is able to travel, through time and space in a police box that's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And that right there is a sandbox that allows you to do whatever the fuck you want. And
right, so there should never be an excuse for why you can't make that entertaining.
Yeah.
And like you said, this episode commits the sin of it takes that premise and fucking, even with all the shit we described, it bores the fuck out of me.
I think one of the things too, because I don't know how soon this gets rectified or this gets retconned or whatever, but I think this is where the writers started possibly realizing we should put the Doctor back in the TARDIS. Why is he traveling around so much like that? Like, I don't know. Like,
no, again, they wrote themselves, again, he's basically got to be earthbound this entire time. And then there's, like, weird instances where, like, the Doctor can use the TARDIS but can't travel through time, but he can go from one location to another location. I can't remember if that happens strictly in, what do you call it? I can't remember if that happens in the Three Doctors, that starts in the Three Doctors, or if they have another instance where that works. I don't remember. We're going to go through it at some point, but I'm just... Yeah, no, this particular episode is, like you said, it basically, it is the sin of being one of the most boring series of Doctor Who I've ever fucking watched. And I've watched a lot of Doctor Who.
Yeah. Now, the Time Lords return his dematerialization circuit in the Three Doctors.
Yes.
Although the Time Lords send him on some off-world missions before then.
Okay, so yeah, so he does go to other places besides. All right, so yeah, I was right. All right, so that does happen. Good. I could have swore it happened. I just couldn't remember if it happened pre Three Doctors or post Three Doctors. So, good to know.
I'm literally on our Doctor Who as we're talking, because I looked up because I wanted to see when Pertwee's doctor got the TARDIS back, and
It's the Three Doctors, yeah. Or at least...
I'm reading this, and it's like, I will say I also thought that Pertwee's first season was kind of boring, but it gets better. Inferno is awesome, and they introduced the Master in Pertwee's second season, and the Master makes the stories more interesting.
Of course he does.
His first season is the best IMO. The Silurians and Inferno are two of his best stories, and Spearhead is great as well. I thought Spearhead was solid as well.
Somebody thinks that this is one of his better Doctor Who stories. They are fucking out of their minds.
I thought Spearhead was solid as well, but I found Silurians a bit dry, a decent story, but just a bit too long.
Oh, yeah. No, this episode, this serial alone was 6 episodes. This could have been 3. Maybe 4, if you absolutely had to. Someone
responded to that. I think both Inferno and Silurians use their episodes extremely well, even though the 7-episode stories are... let's see here. Oh god, and this does apply to Ambassadors of Death, which is the next thing. The other 7-episode story in the... No!
The next one is... Oh, no.
No! Oh, god, why?
Oh, so it's you're going to have to watch 7 episodes for the next...
Fuck me. Oh, my god, why?
Well, on that note... I'm Colin.
I'm Brian.
And you've been listening to Impromptu Who, proving once and for all people will listen to anything on the internet.
Reverse the polarity of this episode.
Yep.
Bye.